What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today I thought it would be a good idea to bring some light to a specific topic that has been kind of, brushed under the rug over these past couple of seasons. It's something that I think is extremely important and crucial for the future of Call of Duty, and it's sad because a lot of people told me they did a similar thing like this in previous games, and they warned me. They said, JB, don't get your hopes up, you never know what's going to happen. They might take it away and it's going to be non-existent. And I didn't believe anybody. I'll be honest, I'm being straight up. I didn't believe anybody. I thought that this was going to be something that is consistently added basically throughout the life cycle of this overall game, but instead it just hasn't been touched upon in a hot minute. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell. We do indeed post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And don't forget, we do stream pretty much daily as well over on Kick. So if you guys want to catch any of my live streams, and keep in mind, we do host open lobbies all the time. So if you want to hop into the games, just tune into the stream. I got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. And those streams usually go live, I would say, between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. All right, so let's get into the actual topic of today's video. Now, what sparked this video? Well, basically the new, field upgrade or field orders for the night vision goggles. Now, they're not actually night vision goggles, but you'll see them in this gameplay here. Basically, what they do is you activate them and it will hyper-focus the enemies by, highlighting them in an extremely bright style red. So basically, it's impossible to go ahead and miss them, and your reaction time will definitely be improved tenfold because let's be real here. Even though we do have a lot of quirky skins in this game, the lighting is still a bit rough from time to time, especially if people are wearing darker camos. So yeah, people blend in pretty nicely, and when you do get lobbies like that where people are blending in pretty clean, I'm not saying it really affects your, reaction time, because obviously Modern Warfare 3 is a pretty fast game. They also, made the colors pretty bright, so it's not too bad of an issue, but trust me, these goggles are phenomenal. Like, I love using my other vests. The Assassin's vests, the Quick Fix vests. But man, I can't tell you how tempted I am to hop back to other vests now because this field upgrade is literally that good. Like, I haven't been tempted. You guys know me. When it comes to all these OBJ game modes, I don't really care. My teammates have trophy systems and all that stuff. I don't really mind. If it's an actual competitive match, yeah, I'll, focus my loadout to be a little bit more friendly in that, regard, but mostly I'm just slaying out, capping OBJs. Quick Fix is phenomenal for that because it keeps me in the game longer and longer and longer. And Assassin's Vest, it's great for flanking and, keeping yourself unseen. It's a lot of good choices. But these goggles, man, yes, they are that good that it pulls me away from wanting to use those other overpowered, pub match vests. They are really fun. But the idea of these goggles came from the experimental playlist, right? This isn't just something that they chucked into the game. No, they had an experimental playlist where they went ahead and outlined all the enemies with red. And I believe they outlined your teammates with blue. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know 110% the enemies were clearly outlined in red. Now, this experimental playlist was phenomenal. A lot of the community really enjoyed this, and I'll be honest with you guys as well. It was awesome to see Sledgehammer test things with us and keep us in the loop. You know what I'm saying? And they also went ahead and, said they were going to test other things in the experimental playlist. Stuff like non-disbanding lobbies and allowing your streaks to loop. A lot of different features the community have been asking for. They said, publicly, this isn't something they were just, no leaks, none of that stuff. No, Sledgehammer really did come out and say that they want to test this stuff out in the experimental playlist. But after the very first experimental playlist where they went ahead and put the outlines, which were then obviously transferred. I mean, they were using it, they listened, so they put it in the game, they liked it, but after that point, we have never seen another experimental playlist ever again. They've just simply never been brought back, and it's such a bummer. It really is such a bummer. And obviously, Modern Warfare 3, in my opinion, is in a good spot. It's a really fun game. But the potential of the experimental playlist is just, it's so perfect. It really is. Even in a game that already plays great, it's just nice to have a playlist that doesn't affect the main game, that you can test just anything out in, anything you could possibly imagine. That is perfect, because the core game stays intact. People who just want to play that can play that. People who want to experiment with the other features in Call of Duty can go do that. And, of course, If the community finds something that's awesome in the experimental playlist, they can bring that back over to the main game, like they did with these goggles. It was great. And people told me they did that in Vanguard. Now, for anybody who's been watching this channel for a really long time, you guys know I covered Vanguard a little bit, but I left that game overall for Battlefield 2042. You guys know the outcome. And again, it wasn't that much better because Battlefield 2042 turned out to be absolutely horrible. But I just didn't really play that much of the Vanguard lifecycle. So I didn't even know they had a play test, whatever experimental playlist in there. People told me they did. And I don't know if this is true. Again, correct me down in the comment section, but that's what everybody told me. And they were warning me ahead of time saying, don't fall for it this time. And like I said, I think I fell for it. Now, it's not the end of the game's lifecycle. We still have time to see it return. But this video is just basically a reminder. I want to put a spotlight basically back on that overall, playlist. I want to bring it to light because nobody really discusses it anymore. Like I said, it's kind of been just swept under the rug. And they did it purposely, I feel like. And the community, yeah, we talked about it time and time and time again during Season 1, but after Season 2, it's never been discussed. People just kind of, I guess, fell off from the overall topic. I can't blame them because, obviously, like I said before, it's not like a game breaker, The game is great as it is. That playlist not being present in Modern Warfare 3 doesn't really affect the overall picture, so people don't really care that much anymore, and they don't really talk about it. But I still think the potential is being missed out here, And also the potential to even test non-disbanding lobbies and, like I said, looping streaks and all these other great features. All of those possibilities we'll never be able to witness because they won't test those features out. I don't know why they won't do it. I'm seriously trying to think of reason, but seriously, maybe Activision doesn't want them to test things? That's realistically, that's all I can think of. That is straight up all I can think of. But I want you guys to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Seriously, do you believe that someone is behind there saying that they don't want the developers to test out any features within Modern Warfare 3? Or do you think it's just, a coincidence that it's just kind of flopped and, maybe not too many people went into the playlist and tested things? They also managed it pretty poorly, if you ask me. I know people said there are sites that you can go to where you can vote for these things within the experimental playlist. But I said time and time and time again, even before this thing was launched, even in the leak days, when this was just leaked information that they were putting in an experimental playlist into Modern Warfare 3, I very specifically said that, in order for this to be successful, they need to make it very consumer-friendly when it comes to voting and giving opinions on this stuff, Basically, you're just going off of people wanting to play in that playlist or not play in that playlist, and you can't go off that because people are going to basically go back to the core game anyways. You need to have something that's like right up in the middle of the match. Not in the middle of the match, obviously, but an after-game report, They actually did that time and time and time again in the past. They did it multiple times in other games where they ask you, did you have fun after this game? Was this an enjoyable experience? All that BS, but you can't do that for the experimental playlist, right? Like, it almost seems like it was forced because logically, people aren't going to go out of their way to go to a different site. And also, they didn't make it very clear that you had to go to a different site. Like, I didn't even know. And I'm all about COD, and I had no clue what to do until someone told me about it. Not very consumer-friendly. Again, it seems like they didn't want people to be voting or giving their opinions on certain things. Or maybe, hear me out, maybe Sledgehammer said a little too much. Maybe they should have not said they want to test out non-disbanding lobbies. Maybe they said that. And then the whole community picked that up and said, oh, look, they said they want to test out non-disbanding lobbies. And Activision's behind the scenes saying, oh my God, what the heck are you doing? So why'd you just say that? We don't want, to be testing out anything with skill-based matchmaking. We want it exactly how it is. So why are you saying we're going to do that? Now, we can't put this out anymore. No more experimental playlists. No more, That could be a possibility as well. Maybe Sledgehammer said a little too much. And that caused behind the scenes to be a bit hectic and Activision, obviously clapping out the overall playlist. But again, I want to know what your guys' opinions are. Regardless, I just wanted to bring some light to the topic. Please touch upon the experimental playlist, Sledgehammer. Give some love to this playlist again. It needs to come back, and it's great because, like I said, these goggles are phenomenal. They are so much fun. It's one of the most fun additions in the season. One of the most underrated fun additions, dare I say, because nobody uses them. That's the funniest part. Nobody uses these goggles. I don't see anybody touching them. I don't even think people know that they're in the game sometimes. but they're there, and they are freaking fantastic. And the reason they're there is because of the experimental playlist. If it wasn't for that playlist, we just simply wouldn't have these goggles. So I hope that we see a return. I hope it comes back, and I hope we can test out more stuff in the future. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And if you guys want to go ahead and check out my live streams, I do that over on Kick. You guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.